What if one silent action could break the chains of injustice forever? When a cruel slave trader mocks a helpless girl in front of hundreds, only one cowboy dares to stand up. But what he does next leaves the entire town frozen in silence. No shouting, no weapons, just one powerful move that changed everything. Stay till the end, because this story will restore your faith in humanity. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss stories like this one. In the dusty town of Clearwater, Texas, during the summer of 1867, the weekly market square was crowded with traders, ranchers, and travelers from across the southern territories. Wagons rattled across the wooden streets, horses stamped restlessly under the burning sun, and merchants shouted prices for everything from cotton to cattle. But that morning, the loudest voice belonged to a man everyone feared, Silas Brenner, the most heartless slave trader in the region. Known for his cruelty and greed, Silas had built his fortune by treating human beings like objects. On this particular day, he stood tall on a wooden platform, holding a long leather whip, ready to sell the last item of the auction. The crowd gathered closer as Silas pushed a young girl forward. Her name was Naomi, only 19 years old, with tired eyes that had seen more pain than most people experience in a lifetime. Her dress was torn, her wrists were bruised from iron chains, and her bare feet trembled against the hot wooden floor. Yet, despite everything, she held her head with a quiet strength that no whip could ever break. Naomi had once lived on a small farm with her mother and younger brother, where they grew vegetables and dreamed of one day earning their freedom. But that dream was shattered when raiders attacked their home, killed her family, and sold her to Silas for just a few silver coins. Since that day, she had been passed from one owner to another, forced to work in kitchens, cotton fields, and stables without rest. Every night, she whispered her mother's name into the darkness, holding on to the hope that somewhere, somehow, kindness still existed in this cruel world. But hope was becoming harder to keep alive with each passing day. Silas raised his whip high and laughed at the crowd. "Look at this girl," he shouted. "Weak, thin, and worthless. I can't even sell her for a single dollar. Maybe I should just give her away to feed the dogs." A wave of cruel laughter spread through parts of the crowd. Some men clapped, others shook their heads in disgust, but nobody stepped forward. Naomi closed her eyes, refusing to let the tears fall in front of these strangers. She had learned long ago that crying only made the pain worse. Silas grinned wider and cracked his whip near her feet, making her flinch. "Anyone want her? $1, 50 cents, anything!" The humiliation was unbearable, but Naomi stood still, silent, dignified, unbroken. At the edge of the crowd, a tall cowboy sat quietly on his brown horse, watching everything with calm, sharp eyes. His name was Daniel Wade, a rancher from the northern hills, known across 3 counties for his fairness and quiet strength. Daniel had ridden into town that morning to buy supplies, but the moment he saw Naomi on that platform, something inside him changed forever. He remembered his own mother, who had once told him, "Son, a real man is measured by how he treats the weakest people around him." Daniel slowly stepped down from his horse, tied the reins to a wooden post, and began walking toward the platform. The crowd noticed his tall shadow moving through the dust, and one by one they fell silent. Daniel stopped right in front of the platform and looked up at Silas without saying a single word. Silas laughed nervously. "What do you want, cowboy? Come to buy this worthless girl?" Daniel didn't answer. Instead, he slowly reached into his leather satchel and pulled out a heavy bag of gold coins. He placed it firmly on the wooden table with a loud thud that echoed across the marketplace. The entire crowd gasped. It was more money than anyone had ever seen at a single auction. Silas's eyes widened with greed as he stared at the shining coins. "That's enough gold to buy every slave in this town," Daniel finally spoke, his voice deep and steady. "But I'm not here to buy anyone. I'm here to free them all." The crowd went completely silent. Silas's smile disappeared. You can't do that," he stammered. Daniel looked him straight in the eyes and replied, "I just did." Then Daniel did something nobody expected. He turned toward the crowd and raised his voice for the first time. "Every man, woman, and child standing in chains today walks out of here as a free human being. I have paid the price. Their freedom is bought, and no one, not even you, Silas, has the right to stop it." He pulled out a folded document from his coat pocket, signed and stamped by a respected judge from the Northern Territory, officially declaring the freedom of every slave sold that day. The paper trembled in Silas's hands as he read the words. He had been outsmarted, publicly and completely. The crowd erupted, some in shock, others in tears, and many in applause. Daniel walked up to Naomi, knelt down, and gently unlocked the chains from her wrists. She looked at him with wide, disbelieving eyes. "Why?" she whispered. Daniel smiled softly and said, "Because no human being should ever wear chains. You are free now, Naomi, truly free." For the first time in years, Naomi allowed her tears to fall. But this time, they were tears of hope. She looked around at the other freed slaves who were embracing each other and thanking Daniel with trembling voices. Silas tried to protest, but the townspeople, inspired by Daniel's courage, turned their backs on him. His power, built on cruelty, crumbled in a single afternoon. As the sun began to set over Clearwater, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson, Daniel helped Naomi onto his horse. "Where will you take me?" she asked quietly. Daniel smiled and replied, "Wherever you choose to go. The road ahead belongs to you now." But little did Daniel and Naomi know Silas would not accept his defeat so easily. That very night, he began planning a dark revenge that would test their courage in ways they never imagined. Their journey of freedom had only just begun, and the greatest challenges were still waiting on the road ahead. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who believes that kindness can still change the world. Stay tuned for the next chapter of Daniel and Naomi's incredible journey. Thank you for watching.